continue the work that was begun, and widen the path that we have won. We stand tall. So your legacy is secure. We have kept your vision beyond, and we stand tall. No turning back. We found a way. Forever. And we stand tall. Come on. Get up on your feet. I want you to stand up. Come on. Get up. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. Hey, and we stand tall. No turning back. We found a way. Forever. And we stand tall.
Yeah. So, Michele, tell us what were the major pivotal points in the Michele Henderson band?
Well, first when we started off by doing our own album, and from there we got invites from festivals around the Caribbean to perform. I think the very first one we did was the Spice Jazz Festival in Grenada, which you were there.
Yeah, I remember that really good. I was playing this tune for Michele and I forgot one of the parts. And I was really, really embarrassed, but I remember that very clearly.
But it was a lot of fun, you know, we enjoyed it. It was our first real major festival performance, and we had a good time, and you know, it sort of set the tone for the rest of our performances, which came pretty quickly around the Caribbean.
So the second album was Soundcheck, and it was moved, I think it moved more from jazz to a little bit more mainstream music. What was the whole idea behind that album?
We wanted to take advantage of the French markets. I mean, you have Guadeloupe and Martinique right next to Dominica, and I grew up always, enjoying zouk and cadence and that style of music, you know. So I wanted to sort of do a little foray into that market, and we tried it out and it worked really well, and people really liked it. We had a #1 hit, you know, on the radios in France, and it was pretty successful, I must say, yeah.
So is that, you know, kind of more your focus now, the French market?
Sort of. I mean, I do a lot of zouk, and I'm always producing stuff for the French market, but I do other things just as well. And I wouldn't say necessarily that it's a focus, but it's just part of the repertoire. It's just part of what we do. Yeah.
So now the third album, that was Moi ML, right? What was the idea behind that album?
That album was basically Ghetto was taking advantage of the French market. Soundcheck, it came on the heels of Soundcheck, which was very successful there, and Moi ML was just sort of capitalize on the momentum that we had going.
And you actually used some really good French studios and producers for that as well, right?
Exactly. We used Eureka Studios in Martinique, which were excellent, and we used we had producers from Martinique like Philippe Joseph, who produces for Kassav, arranges for Kassav, and he did some of the arrangements on that, so they were really good. We ended up with a really good product.
All right, great. All right, guys, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching newmusiczone.com. Newmusiczone.com.
Here at Fort Young Hotel, chatting with Michele, sipping on some drinks and talking about music. So Michele, tell us something. What do you think of the emerging female artists or any artists in Dominica right now?
There are a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent out there right now. There are artists that have come out that are incredibly talented, like right off the bat. It's not like they have a lot of work to do to really.
Who are some of those artists that you think have some potential?
I'd say Atarina is definitely one of those artists. Tasha Peltier is like, she is amazing. Joy Stout as well. You know, there's Sharayan and Kalin Zafi. There's, you know, and all these young women have their own unique styles and their own esprit, if you call it that they bring to the fore. And it's, to me, they don't compete with each other because everybody's just so much in their own unique space. And they're extremely talented, each one of them in their own right. Advice to them, basically, like what I said before, you know, you work on yourself, you give yourself a fighting chance by really presenting a good product, investing in yourself, and just make it happen for you. You know, the only help I really had was my husband. That's really it, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the music they're producing in Dominica, you know, maybe touch on the bouillon. What you think is one aspect that can really be improved in our music that we're putting out these days?
I think the quality of our, like I said, quality of the product. I mean, bouillon music is basically catered to a niche market. It's the Dominicans, but I think the quality of the music needs to be elevated to, you know, like any other idiom that people listen to. People listen to jazz, reggae, pop on BET at a certain standard. It's not just, you know, and so bouillon needs to be at that level, and lyric-wise and music-wise, melodically, the arrangements and everything. I think the arrangements are pretty much getting there. They are very good arrangements in bouillon music, but you know, there's a little bit more work that needs to be done on the presentation of the whole thing.
I mean, do you think it's really a dance kind of music? Do you think it should stay that way in terms of its drive and its ruggedness, or do you think it should be refined to the point where it's, you know, it's more listenable?
I think people should look at the market. The best way to decide on change, and change is inevitable, it's going to happen, is to sample the market, listen to people and ask what they want. And you find out from your audience what it is they would like, and then you cater to the wants and needs of the audience. That's the only way you make money. You can't sell a product people don't want, right? So if what the people want, if what the bouillon fans want is dance music, and then you give them dance music. If what they want is something a little more intellectual, let's say, then you give them that. But you know, pretty much the idea is to sample the audience and get a statistical view of what it is that they want, and you tailor your product to that.
That's a great point, people. You know, make sure you talk to your audience, find out what they want, and make it. I mean, it's, you know, the basic business 101. Find out what the customer wants and sell it to them. So we're gonna go to this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, man, this is King Dice from Dominica, 4-time King Dice, you know, no 5-time road match. You're watching newmusiczone.com. Always do that. Never stop.
Welcome back, everyone. We were just talking with Michele. So she gave us some great tips for aspiring artists. Make sure your product is up to par, your CDs and your DVDs, and make sure you're making something that people want. You know, sample your customer base and ask them, you know, how should your music improve, and then you can get a better product. So we talked to her about, you know, how she got started and what she's doing right now. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and make sure you tune in soon enough for another episode from us.